Welcome back. Now in this video we have a runner at second base with an outfield base hit down the left field line. Now let me draw on my screen again. So the runner starts out in the middle of the field. Okay, so he's on second base and a base hit to the outfield. Once again, they always want to run two bases and a base hit to the outfield runners. So this place is going to play at 4. Alright, so here, this is how I break it down to all my younger players when we go to situations. As if you saw my previous video, when the runner's on first base, he's on the corner of the field. That means the middle guys are going to be the cuts going 3. Now in this scenario, the runner starts out in the middle of the field. So what I like to tell my second baseman, my shortstop, they need to occupy this guy a little bit, right? Their job is to get this runner to get a negative back towards the bag. When the pitcher sees the runner getting a negative back to the bag, that's his cue to deliver the baseball. That'll give the outfielders an opportunity to make a play at home plate on a relay. But once again here, look at the arrows. These guys are occupied. So obviously they're not going to be involved in being the cutoff guy that's going to bring the ball in from the outfield. The furthest point of the field to where the ball is going to go as far as which base, there needs to be a cutoff guy in the middle. And in this instance, the middle guys are occupied because the runner's in the middle of the field. So there's only 2 options left for cutoffs: third base and first base. Okay, so now we're going to go down the left field line. And what I like to do with my younger players is split the field into 3 pieces here, like a pie. Into 3 pieces of pie here. Okay, and this ball is going to go down the left field line. So if shortstop is occupied, there's only one choice here to be the cut. That takes away all the confusion. There's only one choice here to be the cut going 3 if the ball's hit on this side of the field and this shortstop is occupied. So let's watch the play, and you'll see that all the blue dots once again are going towards the ball because we are defending the baseball. They created a straight line of 4. The cutoff man was the third baseman. He drops down the line. As you can see, once again, they created a straight line to where the ball needs to go, and the pitcher is backing up. Now what I like about in motion sports, I mentioned this in my first video, is that when you finish the play, it explains everyone's responsibility. So here the first baseman's got to cover first, roll in behind the batter runner as they round the base. If there is no play at first and the throw is going to second, you back up that throw. Second baseman covers the bag. Shortstop started out on this play here, and he went to go cover a bag because the third baseman, okay, was the cut. So here, let's hover over the third baseman. I hit through the infield on the third base side of the infield. Third base, you become the cutoff between third and home. All right, so that's a play down the line with a man on second. And now once again, these 2 guys right here are occupied. They're occupied because the runner's in the center of the field, so the corner guys are going to be cuts. This ball is going to get hit to center field. All right, so we're going to hit this ball to center field out here, to center field. Okay, now the third baseman is responsible for left field. The first baseman is responsible for center and right. Remember, these guys are occupied. They're done. Pitcher's job is to make sure he sees this guy get a negative going back to the bag and deliver the baseball. Once he delivers the baseball, the first baseman is responsible to shoot. Once he sees the ball goes through the infield, he's responsible to shoot somewhere in the middle of the field and line himself up so that they can make a play at the plate. Once again, let's watch all the blue lines. Everybody has a responsibility. Excuse me, all the blue dots. All the blue dots are moving. As you see, the first baseman moves to the middle of the field, okay, because he's the cutoff man going 4. And executed that play. Now, once again, all the blue dots. Somebody's doing a job. Second baseman came over to cover first. Shortstop did his job and stayed home at second. And third base did his job and stayed home at third. So every base is covered. with the responsible cutoff guy being the first baseman on a base hit to center field, and all he has to do is move to the center of the field. But one key point when you're teaching this, and one key point that you guys need to realize is that the first baseman needs to, he has to have a read. If he knows the ball is going to get through as soon as it's hit, then get there. Okay? But see the ball through first, and don't panic. You got plenty of time to get to the middle of the field. You can see right there. Boom. And obviously, once again, if this ball is off to the right, or if this ball is off to the left, okay, that first baseman needs to cut that ball and go 4. Okay, so the catcher has to communicate with him whether to cut that ball, go 4, or to cut the ball and hold. Now, once again, if it's in a straight line like in this play here, and the ball's in line, the catcher simply doesn't say anything, and that's the cue for the infielder to let the ball go through. So that's the center field. Okay, now we're going to go to right field. All right, so just makes sense that if these guys are occupied, once again, they're holding the runner around, waiting for him to get a negative, that the only option for a ball hit to the right side, which is this way, right side, the first baseman's going to line them up. So, the corner guys are cuts when the runner's in the middle of the field. The third baseman is only responsible for the left fielder, and the first baseman has center field and right. So just to simplify it for you. Here's the first baseman, once again, lining up in a straight line. Okay, and as you can see, we'll draw it again so you guys can see how many straight lines are created. Now, if this ball's cut here, cut this runner off at second, shortstop's there. Oh, what if he throws it over? There's the center fielder. If he decides to cut this ball off, and sometimes the mental game of baseball can get to you, and throws it over here by accident and overthrows, guess what? The left fielder's there. So everybody, once again, has a responsibility. All the blue dots are moving, getting into position, doing a job. As you can see in this play, he cut the ball off and got the secondary runner, which was the runner coming out of the box at second base. And once you get to the end of the play, once again, if we hover over all these spots, everybody has responsibility. The second baseman came over to cover second. Shortstop stayed home and short to cover second. The second baseman covered first base. The shortstop stayed home to cover second. And the third baseman did his job. And in case this ball needed to go over here, left fielder was here. So everybody moves towards the ball on defense at all times. So just a quick review. When a runner starts out in the middle of the field, they need to occupy this guy so he can get a negative going back to the bag. And once he gets a negative, the pitcher delivers. Let's split the field in 3 pieces, 3 slices of pie. Okay, 3 slices of pie. If the ball is hit to this side of the field and it plays at 4, the only choice here to be a cut is third base. Alright, and when it's hit up the middle of the field, your first baseman doesn't make any sense for him to cover first base, so he's responsible to get to the middle of the field after he sees the ball through. After he sees the ball through, he's responsible to get to the middle of the field and beat a cut to get the ball in from the furthest point in the outfield, in the middle of the field, to the space that the play is going to be, which is home plate in this instance. And then, of course, if he goes to right field, the only option here would be first base because second baseman is holding him on. So just to simplify things, first baseman has center field and right, and the third baseman has left field. And these are all your plays with a runner at second and outfield base hits.